Hi everyone, Aryan here, and today we're going to create this cool grid, product grid section, and we will be using Bricks Builder and AutomaticCSS. So let's hop right away on the website. Anyway, if you want to know my setup, check the description in this video. So let's go on the website and start by clicking a section, then click on the container and go on display, choose grid, just add like 2 columns. And then on gap, right click and I would go with XL or something similar. Okay, so after that, let's add, by clicking the elements button here, let's add block. And the first block, I call it block left. Then container again, plus button, and choose another block again, so block right. Okay, in this way. So we have 2 blocks into the container, block left, select it, and plus button. Again, I'm going to add another block, and I will call this block row 1. Perfect. You block row 1 selected, display, grid. Here we're going to add 2 columns, and then on gap, I will be using S, okay, to space them. And after that, let me see, we need to actually add the card layout, the card design. So with the block row 1 selected, go on plus button and just click again on block. Now, as you can see, the structure is getting a little bit more complex, and we will call this card product. Oops. Give me 1 second. Product card 1. Okay. With product card 1 selected, we are going to add a few styling. So depends on the image you have. Let me go on Figma, and I would get, as those images are actually have this background color, and to make sure the background match the image, I would go with the same color. So I have it somewhere here. So the background color is this one, in my case. Product card 1. Before doing any, setting up of this, I would go and BAM everything. But before BAMing everything, let's add a structure, right? So product card 1, I want to add this little thing first, okay, that shows on the product. So click on the product card 1, plus button, and then let's search for div. Okay, so we have the div now here, and the div would be this box here, and I would go with a title and this other subtitle. So I would go by clicking on plus button. I will search for heading, and the heading, of course, will be something very small, like a H6 could be, or H5. Now you can also say H6 and then go on style and change the thing. So I would keep H6 and then style it. And then we have this lorem ipsum here that is basically a text, and I would go with basic text. Let's try to copy also the text just to have some content filled out. Oops, I did not copy it correctly. Fashion shoes and lorem. Okay, great. And then what we need to do actually is to add a new column. Like, go on div, and the div, I won't call it only div, like I would call it div badge, like div badge card or something like that, just to make sure we understand what it is. And with this selected, I would go on display grid again, and I would go with this time 2FR 1FR. Okay, it's a little bit big, but we can reduce this by reducing the whole space. I will show you later how to do that. And of course, before doing this, we need to have the heading and the text in another div to make sure that it does not happen, right? I want those two together. So on the heading, right click and just wrap into a div, and I will call it text wrapper. Open up the text wrapper. We have heading, but also basic text needs to be inside of it. And as you can see, then the design now is correct. Then I would duplicate text wrapper, okay, and I will call this price wrapper. Open up the price wrapper, and then instead of heading, you can remove the heading and just keep the basic text, okay. And now what we need to do is to actually add the pricing. So on my new tutorials, I will also make it dynamic. So I will show you how to actually work with, WooCommerce. But for now, we are going to do the design. Okay, so I pasted in the price. This is how it looks. Okay, great. So here is lorem ipsum. Here is the title. Here is the text. Let me go and, add some gap, but I will do that later. Okay, so the structure is here, the image is here, we have everything, I guess. Let me check in the Figma, make sure all the elements of the design is there so that we can style it. Looks great. Perfect. Let's start. So before doing anything, I always BAM everything by using AutomaticCSS. Otherwise you need to manually add the classes to each item, and that takes forever. So let me see, where is the product card one. So product card one is what I want to BAM right now. So I would click here. Let me open up this so you see the structure of product card one. BAM this. Now this is called product card one. Okay, perfect. I can click on apply classes. Perfect. And now everything has classes, as you can see, and also the child elements has classes. Okay, so that everything now is well organized and ordered. Perfect. Let's start to design it. So the first thing I would go and change is the background, right? The background of the card. So the background of the card is actually an image. So I'm going to change this. So for the background, where is it? Click here, and then select image, and I can select my first image. And let me see the design. We have this shoe here as a first image, and we can add it. Okay, so now this is the background. Okay, where is it? Okay, okay, it's not showing probably for this element. Let me see. Let me remove the background and remove the class and just add the background again. Okay, there is something. Oh yeah, I understand. So basically it's not showing because the image is probably here somewhere. So let me fix this. So again, with product has selected, make sure you select this. For the image, you don't need to select the class. As you can see now, the image disappeared, but if you remove the class, it's here. It's just because I don't want to have the same image on all the classes, like all the items with the same class. Anyway, click this. Layout, padding, and try to add some padding here. Oops, not the padding bottom, but the padding top. You can choose, the height that you want. We could also go with something like 6 EM or even more. Let's see, 8 EM. Okay, as you can see, the shoe now is starting to show. 8 EM would be great. Let me see the design just to make sure it's similar. Yeah, okay, you need to take time, but I will go faster. So let's say 10 EM. No, 8 EM is okay. 8 EM, and then what I need to do is basically remove this. Okay, then go on background, and here we need to make sure this is centered. So go on, let's see, top left, repeat, cover. Let's go on center, and now we have it on center. Of course, depends on the image. And yeah, once you added this, You can also click here and say custom, but I would not go with custom. I usually try to, use those options. Depends on your image. Once you're done, center, now we need to, design this element. We will go back then and fix things, but let's go faster. So div beige, card, right? So this one should have a background color. And the background color, I think, is just white. So I'm going to before anything, click on this and then go and change your color. Background, ultra light. This is my color palette. I would go with a white. And then after that, you can go on layout and padding. I would add the padding all around it. So click this twice and then just add some padding here. Like that. And as you can see, now we have our padding. And okay, so let me see the design. So I won't get the same fonts because it's not okay. So we have this little corner here that is rounded, so you can basically go on border, and then go here and just use a little rounded corner like that. Okay, so that's done. And then we have the pricing here. And the pricing here is basically this one. So to make sure it goes down here, you can actually do this, like where is it? Okay, so price wrapper. You can click on class, tell the price wrapper to go down. So I would click on the content, display, flex. And then I would say like, go to the end. The direction is horizontal, but should be vertical. Or maybe horizontal, I'm not sure. Wait, where is it? Okay. Okay, horizontal works great. Looks like it's working. And then align cross-axis end. And as you can see now, it's here on the end. Then let me see where is the div beige card. Oops, sorry. Div beige card. We need to add some spacing between the two elements. So by clicking this, go and add some gap like that. And now, as you can see, we have our spacing in this way. Okay. So we have done most of the things, like the structure of the first card works really good. You can, spend some more time on fixing this. I want also to show you, in case you have some products, like the products has the images, if you want to adapt the image to the product, you can basically go on the product card one, style, and in the background, without enabling these, in the background, you can really play around with this or with this, like auto. As you can see, cover is what we want, contain, there are all these options here. But let's say I want this shoe that shows a little bit on the top. I can go here and just say custom and axis. You can change this. Let me see, to -5. You can go on, EM, -25 EM. You need to play around with this. And let's say I want the shoe that shows here, but this depends really on your kind of image. Anyway, I highly suggest to always adapt it based on, your image. I would go with center, and that's okay for me. Great. So now we can go forward and build the rest of the things. Of course, you should fix this. Like I would go and change the text style typography very quickly. I just don't want you to lose too much time. And here the pricing, as you can see, it's changing. So those two tags actually has the same tag, as you can see, because we duplicated it. But if you want his own tag, you just need to remove this so that you make sure the pricing could be a different styling. Let's do that really quickly. So I can remove this, and as you can see now, the price has its own style. Okay. And if you're using AutomaticCSS, you can go on BAM here and just, re-add it. Before re-adding it, I always try to name this correctly, like text price, and with text price renamed, you can go on product card 1, and now you have text price renamed correctly so that it doesn't go in conflict with this other item that is called text basic the same way. So now you can apply, it has its own design, and here you can, just play around font size and tell him, you want a 50 on L or whatever. Let's say we go with L, for example, looks cool. And then you can also say, okay, I want it a little bit stronger, and just, go with this. And yeah, you can play around actually. So let's keep it small and nice. Okay, so we have this structure now. I won't go into all the details of the design, but now we can use this card and just basically duplicate it. And as you can see, by duplicating it, it's working because the card here is just in a block row 1, and those are the 2 cards inside of it. So now it works fine. Let's go forward very quickly. So now we have another element to add. I want the card here on the bottom, and it's very simple. You just need to duplicate this one, okay? And you need to take it out from the nested level, like here. And as you can see now, it added the card in this way, and it's also getting the full thing. If you want to structure it better, I would go and do this, like close this. Here on block row 1, I would duplicate the whole block and say duplicate, okay? And then on block row 1 selected, I would remove one of the 2 cards, and then I would go in the block row 1 and say I don't want any more like 2 grids. I just want, 1. The gap could be removed. And now I need to add the spacing between these 2 rows. So this is now row 2. Ooh. Okay, so let me check what is the spacing. I think it's an S spacing. So block left, now you click on it, and on row gap, right click and say space S. So it's basically the same spacing of this one. And look at this, everything works fine. And what we need to do actually here on this element, okay, we can specifically edit this element. It's the div page, where is it? The product card, background, right? I don't want the background like this. So as we've seen before how to play around with this, you can play it around now and say, instead of center, instead of cover, you can say, no, not auto, sorry, contain, okay? And instead of repeat, you say no repeat, and we have the shoe here. So here is where you actually need to play around with it. Because of course, the problem here is that the image is vertical, but we have a horizontal box. And how we can fix that? It's very easy. We can play around by using, by clicking, again on the background. Where is it? Background. And here you can give him the background custom size, say 200 pixel. Okay, or let's say 400 pixel. You can play around, like for me 400 pixel looks good. And let's say I want to background custom size. Okay, let's see if we use EM, maybe it looks better. Okay, 20 EM is good. And then what we need to do is to change the position with custom. Okay. Play around with this. Okay. This is the correct ACSS. So I'm not sure why it's not giving me the background correctly. Let me try to put 400 pixel and see if with the pixel this would solve. Nope. I think that this is a problem with the custom thing. So let me go back to 20em. Okay, so basically I'm not really able to change this, but we can use maybe center right, bottom center. Okay, bottom center. Center is like that. But if I use custom, does not really work. It puts the content in the same place. Okay. Okay, so you basically need to play around with this. Like, it was hard, but we did it finally. So now we have the image in the center, and what I would do, okay, is to add a background, a gray background, right? But if you want to follow the best practice, I would go and activate the product card one, so that this edit would change on all of the cards. So background color, you can click on it, and you need to match the background color of the shoe. Of course, in the case that you are using the same background on all your products, okay? Otherwise, that would be hard, and you should keep it, transparent in case. That would be the best solution. So let me go on the design and just get the color that I guess I saved here somewhere. Here is it. So you need to click on the hex here and just add it. And as you can see now, the background matched the image background and looks like now it's a lot better. Okay, so we made the hardest part. Now it's just a question of copy and pasting, basically. Let me go very quickly here and add all the elements. So I'm going to copy this by selecting this block. I can plus button. Oops, where is heading? Heading. So in some case, the heading gets out of the block. So make sure it gets in, just drag and drop it inside of it. Here is the heading. And, you can put your heading here. Lorem ipsum. Plus button, add a basic text. And 2 buttons. I usually go and plus button, just search for div, and the div you will call it button wrapper by clicking on button wrapper plus button, and you can go and just add 2 buttons like that, or you can also do 1 button and 1 text link. In this way, as you wish. Let's go with 2 buttons, like the design, and then this text here, you can change it to H2 usually for section, style, and then typography, and you can go on font size and make something bigger like XXL, or just make a calculation and just multiply times 2 or maybe times 1.4. Oops. Can also 1.3, I think it's okay. So we need to add some spacing between those 2 elements. I would wrap those 2 inside a div. So right click and just wrap into a div. The div will be called, let me see if I can, text wrapper. And open it up, just click the basic text and put it inside of the text wrapper. So now if I go on block right and I just go on content, and I would tell him to say vertical direction, center, and then row gap. I can right click on row gap and just say XL, okay, something like that. You can check the design. Okay, it's basically centered. And yeah, so if you want to, space this, click on text wrapper, display, flex, and of course vertical, and then row gap, let's say S or XS. Okay, so I will let you style the button. If you want spacing between the buttons, click the button wrapper, and instead of block, flex, keep it horizontal, column gap, right click, and you go with XS or whatever. And as you can see, we just made a structure. Now what we need is actually, you can close everything. In the section here, you can actually add a new container, okay, by clicking on the section. Or let me see how the structure. So box left, box right, okay. So clicking on section now, plus button, and I would go with another container, as you can see, and I would call it container bottom, just, and with container bottom selected, I would go and just say plus button, and just like, yeah, we don't need to actually add anything. You can click on container bottom, go on grid, and with grid selected, we need to actually choose 4. Okay, now we have 4. And of course, the gap, same as this one, it was, I think, S. Okay. And then I would also want to add the cards inside of it. So let me click on this card and just search for it. So this is the product card. You can copy, go on the container, and just, paste it here. And now when you pasted the first one, you can just duplicate it 4 times in this way. And then what you need to do, close everything up, go on the section, and on the section, row gap, right click, S, and voila, you have your structure. Okay, so basically we reproduced our design structure. Let me have a look. You can now add all the product images. Let's say I want to replace this. I would go very fast. Style, background, and you can change the background. Oh yeah, this one, the first one is correct. We can go the second one and say, okay, I want this one. I will go a little bit randomly. You need to disable this so that you see the image. Let's go with this one. That looks good. Or you can go with something else that maybe it's... So here depends really on the image, because the images are all different. As you can see, I changed the image, usually change the thing. So if you want, you can, not this one. That's why I always prefer to use images structure in the same. It is better. Okay, and yeah. So now if I replace this with another one, okay, it works. It's just the image that changed. I don't remember which products I already added. I'm going fast so that I don't take too much of your time, guys. What is missing here? Maybe this one. And then the last shoe. Yeah. So I'm not sure which one was in the design, but we did it very quickly. Now I'm saving this to make sure everything is done. Okay, so now we need the mobile version, and here will be a little bit tricky. If I get here, everything works fine. Okay, we have the image that is adapting, great. If I get here, now everything is starting to be really too small, and that's a big issue. And on mobile, of course, it's impossible to check, right? So let me see how to fix this. So first of all, going on the tablet portrait, let me try to go to the smaller version, and here to me is starting to be a little bit problematic. And what I would do here is to basically change the structure of the column. So in the mobile portrait, I would go on the block 1, and instead of having clicking on layout and content, and instead of having 2 columns, I would go with 1. Okay, in this way. And then this one, of course, would stick like that, and maybe the spacing between the 2 elements would be S this time, so content, and here on gap, okay, so the container, as you can see, selected. Here on gap, you need to put S, and they are a lot close to each other. So here depends a little bit on your taste. You can have more space or less space. I'm not sure that S would be nice because I like the elements a little bit more space, so you can try to use M maybe. It's a little bit more spaced, and yeah, looks a little bit good. And yeah, so now we can do the same thing to this container bottom and tell him to show only 2 columns like this. And as you can see, we structure the mobile version to be more usable, okay? And another thing you could do here on this product here, okay, let's say that the image is cutting off, I don't want it like that. You can click on product card 1, go on style, go on background, and here on background, you can actually edit it. Let me try to, oops, no, this one, we don't need to open this. So the background position should be center, okay? And now, if I go on desktop, this works fine. And if I go on the mobile, landscape, this is fine too. So we added this only for this breakpoint. And look at this, now everything is, it's cool, it's fine, it's working great, okay? And great, so let me go on mobile now, and on mobile, of course, we need to go vertical, that's sure. So let me try to go on the first container. So the first container for sure needs to be like 1 column, okay? And I want to have the block right on the top. So with the block right selected on order, you go on -1 so that you are sure that this is in the first place. So I want the title first, the content here, and then the smaller content. Look how beautiful it is on mobile. Like I have this element here, I have some shoes here that looks great, and then I have those, right? Oh, okay. I was typing in maybe in a wrong one. So what you can actually do is change the min height. I would go with an EM on min height, so 12 EM, for example. Oops, you need to play around. So now that I changed this, I have this one that is basically floating, okay? And what I usually do is to actually go here and just go on, work on the base breakpoint and change the product card. The product card, we need to make this align to the bottom, but I would do this on the desktop version. Oops. Okay, so you need to put horizontal direction and then align cross axis to the end, and this would solve also the mobile version, okay? So now that we fixed everything, looks great, everything looks great. The only thing you need to play around is the images. I highly suggest you use images that are squared or, all with the same aspect ratio. Here they are a little bit different one in each other. So this is the trickiest part, because it's not very easy to move these, and most of the time you can get confused with the classes, right? So the first thing you need to do before doing any change here is go on the desktop version, make sure that all your images has the background position disabled if this is disabled. What I mean is just disable this and make sure the class has it, and the class actually has it. So if you have it without the class, it's overwriting the class. So, you need to go on all the images. This one, it's okay because it's a section itself, but the other images too, I don't want to have the background position center because it's already into the class, right? So I just removed it here, but if I click this, as you can see, it's already there. So you don't need to actually have it twice. So I'm going to click on the other card, remove this, other card, remove this, and other card, remove this. Okay, with that removed, let me check this one. So this one was already removed, so it's okay. This one, yeah, this one, for example, it's okay because it's into the class. So let me go back now on the mobile, and now on the mobile, if I click here with the class activated, okay, I can start changing the background position to a custom and say the y, I think is y axis would be like minus 120 pixel or 120 pixel without minus. Okay, it's not that, like minus 60 pixel. Okay, now you need to play around here and say, okay, let's say 70. Okay, that's good. And as you can see now, all the shoes are getting the 70. The problem here is that now these shoes here, they are too high. So if you want to change only those two, what you need to actually do, copy this, sorry, remove the background position, remove this, and now change it so that it overrides the class. So background, no, where is it? Background position, custom, minus here. You should go here, background position, custom, minus. So that this one you can keep it like that and only those two changes. And the cool part is that, you know, all the rest of the resolution works well. Okay, let's say I want this shoe to be like that. Click on here and just make sure that we have the background position the same as this, and like custom. Okay, the only problem is that the image probably is different from that. So the cover image, let me see, auto, nope, cover, nope, contain, nope, custom probably, and if I don't remember, it's 400 pixel maybe. And yeah, so the image is actually different. So in this case, we need to fix this one to something else, like, okay, so the problem actually comes if you start changing the image. Okay, so this is just to show you how free you are to edit stuff in Bricks Builder. It's just to show you how actually it's cool. But if you use the same ratio image on all the products, of course, like let's say they are all square, you won't have any problem. You don't need to do all those kind of changes, right? Because the images are structured all in the same way, and that is the best practice if you want to have your structure, you know, that works always in any case. Just use the same images structure. In this tutorial, my mistake was to use different image resolutions so that they would be different to each other. Anyway, I hope that this tutorial showed you how strong, how many options Bricks Builder can offer you to build, you know, structures like this. Thanks a lot, guys, and see you in the next tutorial. Of course, like button if the video was useful, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.